The galaxy had always followed a set of rules when it came to war. For thousands of years, various alien species had built their civilizations around these laws, known as the Galactic War Codes. These laws were created to prevent total destruction and ensure that no species would become too powerful, too dangerous. But then, Earth did something that shocked the entire galaxy. They built a warship that broke every single one of these laws. It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The warship was massive, a dark shadow that seemed to stretch across the stars. Its surface was covered in intricate designs and unknown symbols, but its purpose was clear: power. The warship's weapons were capable of destroying entire fleets in seconds, and its defensive systems were so advanced that no enemy had a chance of penetrating them. The ship was human-made, created by Earth's finest engineers and scientists, working together in secret for years. No one had known what they were building. Earth's leaders had kept everything under wraps, knowing that if the rest of the galaxy discovered what they were creating, they would never allow it to be finished. They had built the warship because they believed it was the only way to protect their world. They needed it to defend against an alien threat that had begun to target their colonies in deep space. The day the warship was completed was a day of great celebration for Earth, but it would soon become a day of fear for the rest of the galaxy. News of the warship spread quickly, reaching the Galactic Council, the governing body of hundreds of alien species. When they saw the size and the power of the human-made warship, they were shocked. They had never seen anything like it before. Some feared that it would lead to the collapse of the delicate peace between the galaxy's races. Others believed that the ship was a symbol of human arrogance, a sign that Earth was planning to challenge the galactic balance of power. The first time the warship was seen outside of Earth's atmosphere was when it crossed into a nearby solar system. The sight of it was enough to send shockwaves through the galaxy. The humans had already broken so many rules just by building the ship, but now it was in full view, a direct challenge to the galactic codes. The warship's presence sparked a heated debate in the Galactic Council. Should Earth be allowed to keep it? Should they be punished for their actions? Some factions wanted to take action immediately, while others argued that humanity should be given a chance to explain itself. What worried everyone the most was the ship's power. There was nothing like it in the galaxy. In the heart of Earth's warship, the human crew remained unaware of the storm they had unleashed. They believed they were ready to defend their planet. But as the warship moved farther into space, they began to realize that their creation was about to change everything, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. The warship didn't just appear overnight. It had been in the making for years, hidden deep within Earth's most secure facilities. Its creation was the result of a growing fear that had begun to spread across the planet. Earth, for the first time in its history, was under threat from alien invaders, ruthless species who saw Earth as nothing more than a target. Humanity had tried to negotiate with them, offering peace, trade, and cooperation, but the alien factions had no interest. They saw humans as weak and insignificant, a species to be conquered. Faced with this threat, Earth's leaders made a decision that would change the course of their history. They would no longer rely on diplomacy. They would build something that would make every alien think twice before attacking them again. And so, the warship was born. The design was revolutionary. Earth's finest minds worked together in secret, blending human creativity with technology that no one had ever seen. The warship was not just a ship. It was a symbol of human willpower, their determination to protect what was theirs. It was built to be unstoppable, armed with weapons so advanced that they defied the very laws of physics. The construction took years, but it was worth it. The warship's first test was a success beyond anyone's expectations. The ship's main weapon, a massive energy cannon, was capable of slicing through asteroids with ease. It was a show of strength, and its power would soon be proven in battle. However, the ship wasn't just about firepower. It was designed to be highly intelligent, able to adapt to any situation and learn from its environment. The warship's eye, which had been developed alongside the ship itself, was a masterpiece. It was capable of making decisions in real time, adjusting tactics based on the enemy's moves. This eye wasn't like any other. It was designed to think like a strategist, something the aliens hadn't accounted for. The crew of the warship was equally extraordinary. Humans from various backgrounds, soldiers, scientists, engineers, and leaders, were chosen to man the ship. Each one had been handpicked for their skill, determination, and loyalty to Earth. They didn't see themselves as the creators of something that could break every law of war. To them, the warship was simply the only way to survive. The decision to keep the warship's existence a secret was a difficult one. Earth's leaders knew that once the galaxy knew about the ship, things would change. The alien factions would either try to destroy it or attempt to capture it for their own use. But they couldn't risk waiting any longer. The threat from the alien invaders was too real, too dangerous. The warship was humanity's last line of defense, and they had no choice but to move forward. As the warship prepared for its first mission, the humans aboard were filled with a mix of excitement and fear. They had built something incredible, but they also knew that what they had created would forever alter the balance of power in the galaxy, and once they unleashed it, there would be no going back. The warship, now fully operational, stood ready for its first test. Earth's leaders had kept it hidden for so long, but the time had come to see if it could live up to the promises made during its creation. The alien invaders that threatened Earth's colonies were closing in, and humanity had no choice but to take action. The mission was simple: protect the outer colonies at any cost. The fleet of alien ships was approaching quickly, and Earth's allies had already made it clear they would not provide any help. It was up to humanity and the warship alone to defend the colonies. As the warship left Earth's atmosphere, the crew felt a mix of excitement and fear. They had no idea what to expect. Their ship was the most powerful vessel ever created, but no one had ever faced an enemy like this before. The warship's AI analyzed the alien fleet as it appeared on the radar, calculating the most effective strategy for an attack. The warship's captain, Commander Jackson, stood at the helm, his hands tight on the controls. He had been chosen for this mission not only because of his experience, but also because of his ability to make tough decisions under pressure. He knew the laws of war, laws that every species in the galaxy had agreed to follow. But he also knew that these laws would not protect humanity. The aliens had no respect for these laws, and humanity's survival depended on breaking them. Commander Jackson ordered the warship to engage, and the first blast of its energy cannon tore through the enemy fleet. The sheer power of the blast sent shockwaves through the space around them. The alien ships were torn apart in an instant, their shields no match for the warship's advanced technology. But as the warship's weapons continued to fire, something became clear. Every shot, every move made by the ship was a violation of the galactic war codes. The laws of war prohibited the use of such destructive force. There were rules about targeting civilian ships, about the use of weapons that could destroy entire planets, and about respecting the lives of those who had surrendered. The crew watched in horror as the warship continued to cut through the alien fleet. They knew they were breaking the laws, but there was no turning back. The alien invaders would never stop, and humanity had no choice but to do whatever it took to protect their colonies. As the battle raged on, the crew realized the true cost of their actions. The warship's power was undeniable, but so were the consequences. The laws of war were put in place to prevent the kind of destruction they were causing, and now humanity was responsible for breaking those laws. After the battle, Commander Jackson stood on the bridge, his face grim. The victory was clear. The alien fleet had been destroyed, and Earth's colonies were safe. But at what cost? The warship had proven its strength, but the violation of galactic law was a price that humanity would have to face. As the warship returned to Earth, the crew knew the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The victory over the alien fleet was clear, but it came with a heavy cost. Earth's warship had saved the colonies, but at the same time, it had broken the most sacred laws of war. The Galactic Council, a group of representatives from different alien species that governed the galaxy, had been watching from a distance. They had seen the destruction caused by the warship and knew that the balance of power had shifted forever. The council convened in a special meeting. Leaders from across the galaxy gathered in a grand chamber, where the fate of humanity would be decided. The room was filled with tension. There were representatives from the most powerful species in the galaxy, all of whom had followed the ancient galactic war codes for centuries. These codes were sacred. They ensured that no species would gain too much power and that war would never reach the point of complete annihilation. Now, the humans had broken these rules, and the council was not happy about it. Xerix, a representative from the Valon species, was the first to speak. His species had been in the galaxy for thousands of years, and they had always held a strict view on war. He stood up from his seat, his eyes glowing with anger. "This human warship is a threat to all of us," he said, his voice cold. "It is a weapon designed to break every rule we have fought to protect. The destruction it caused in the battle was beyond anything we have ever seen." Another council member, Kayla, a tall alien from the Torkin race, added, "We cannot allow this to go unchecked. The galactic war codes were established to keep us all safe from the dangers of unchecked power. The humans have shown that they are willing to break these codes for their own survival. But what happens next? Will they use this weapon again? Will they destroy us all if they feel threatened?" The room grew silent as the council members exchanged glances. The situation was critical. On one hand, Earth had defended itself and its colonies from an alien invasion. On the other hand, the warship was a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Some species were afraid that humanity had become too powerful, too dangerous. Others were more understanding, seeing the warship as a necessary evil in the face of an existential threat. A representative from the Sarnics, a peaceful species known for their wisdom, spoke up next. "We cannot deny the power of the warship," they said, "but we must also acknowledge the fear that humanity has faced. They were forced to act in self-defense, and while their methods were extreme, we must ask ourselves, what choice did they have?" The debate raged on for hours. The council members argued, some for humanity's right to defend itself, others against the idea of allowing such a weapon to exist. In the end, they reached a decision. Humanity would be given a chance to explain itself. The Galactic Council would send a delegation to Earth to speak with their leaders and determine whether the warship should be destroyed or if Earth could be allowed to keep it. The Galactic Council had made its decision. A delegation would be sent to Earth to discuss the fate of the warship. But before the Council could act, another threat emerged, a massive alien fleet that had already set its sights on one of Earth's outer colonies. The warship, humanity's last line of defense, was called into action once again. Commander Jackson stood on the bridge of the warship, his face grim. He had no time to waste. The enemy fleet was closing in fast, and Earth's colonies were in immediate danger. His orders were clear: stop the invasion, no matter the cost. There was no room for hesitation. The galaxy's leaders could argue all they wanted about the warship's existence, but right now, the only thing that mattered was saving the people of Earth. "Prepare for battle," Commander Jackson ordered. His voice was steady, but inside, his heart raced. He had seen the destruction the warship was capable of, and he knew that using its full power would break every galactic law. But in that moment, he didn't care. Earth had already paid the price for survival, and he wasn't about to let the colony fall without a fight. The warship powered up, its weapons systems humming to life. The crew worked in perfect harmony, each person doing their part as the massive vessel moved into position. The enemy fleet appeared on the radar, a group of alien warships that outnumbered them. But it didn't matter. Humanity's warship was unlike anything the aliens had ever faced. The first volley of energy blasts from the warship's cannons shook the space around them. The alien ships were torn apart in an instant, their shields no match for the ship's advanced weaponry. The crew cheered as the first wave of enemy ships was obliterated, but the battle was far from over. The enemy fleet retaliated, launching wave after wave of missiles and energy blasts toward the warship. "Brace for impact," yelled Lieutenant Sarah, the ship's weapons officer. The warship's shields flared to life, absorbing the brunt of the alien attacks. But even the warship's powerful defenses couldn't stop everything. The ship shook as explosions rocked the hull, and alarms blared throughout the bridge. Commander Jackson gritted his teeth. He couldn't afford to lose. Not now. Not after everything they had built. "Target their command ship," Jackson ordered. "Take it down. Now." The warship's AI calculated the perfect trajectory for the next shot. The energy cannon fired, and a beam of light shot through space, striking the alien command ship directly. The ship disintegrated in a flash of light, and with it the remaining alien ships scattered in retreat. The battle was over, and Earth's colonies were safe, for now. But as the warship floated in the aftermath of the battle, Commander Jackson couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The crew celebrated their victory, but he knew that the warship's actions had broken every law of war. They had destroyed entire ships without regard for their crews. They had shown no mercy. And now, there would be consequences. The warship's victory had been undeniable, but Commander Jackson couldn't shake the weight of what they had done. The battle was over. The alien fleet had been destroyed, and the colonies were safe, but the aftermath left him with a deep unease. He stood at the edge of the warship's bridge, staring out into the vastness of space, lost in thought. The crew had celebrated their triumph, but he couldn't join them. Something didn't feel right. Jackson had always been a man of principle. He had followed the galactic war codes his entire career, believing that even in war, there were rules that should be respected. But now, humanity had created something that not only broke those rules, it shattered them completely. The warship's weapons had obliterated the enemy with no consideration for their lives. The attack had been swift and brutal, leaving no room for surrender or mercy. As the warship made its way back to Earth, the crew began to discuss the battle. They had won, but there was an unspoken tension hanging in the air. The questions lingered. Had they done the right thing? Had they crossed a line that they could never return from? Lieutenant Sarah, the weapons officer, was one of the first to speak up. "Commander, we did what we had to do. The enemy would have destroyed us if we hadn't acted. There was no choice." Jackson turned to her, his expression troubled. "I know, Sarah, but did we have to use that kind of power? Did we have to break every law of war just to survive?" Sarah's face softened, but she didn't hesitate. "You saw what was happening to the colonies. We had to fight back, and we didn't just win. We ended the threat. We saved innocent lives." But Jackson wasn't convinced. He turned away, his eyes fixed on the stars. "It wasn't just the battle we fought. It's everything we've done since we started this warship. We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of, and I'm afraid of what they'll think of us now." A silence fell over the room. The crew knew that the warship's existence had already shaken the balance of power in the galaxy, but none of them fully understood the consequences. The Galactic Council had already taken notice, and Jackson knew that they would soon face judgment for their actions. Meanwhile, the warship's AI continued to analyze the aftermath of the battle. It had performed exactly as it was designed to, making decisions based on cold logic. But for the first time, Jackson wondered if the AI had done something that no human could have. Had the warship's intelligence led them down a dangerous path? Had it calculated the right course, or had it simply followed the orders without considering the bigger picture? As the warship neared Earth, the crew began to prepare for what would come next. The warship had proven its strength, but now, Jackson knew they would have to face the consequences of their actions. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's place among the stars was now uncertain. Jackson looked out the window once more, the weight of his decisions pressing on him. He had done what he thought was necessary, but at what cost? The warship had only just returned to Earth when the news came. A new fleet of alien ships, larger and more powerful than any before, was heading toward the human home planet. The invasion that had been stopped months ago was not over. The aliens were angry, and they had united in their mission to destroy the human threat once and for all. Commander Jackson stood on the bridge of the warship, staring at the holographic display of the alien fleet. His mind raced. The humans had won a great victory, but now, it seemed, the price had been set. The galaxy's most dangerous species had come together, determined to make humanity pay for breaking the war laws. The warship, the very thing that had protected Earth, now made it a target. "We have to stop them, Commander," Lieutenant Sarah said, her voice firm. "We can't let them reach Earth. We have to show them that we won't back down." Jackson turned to face his crew, his expression hard. "This is it. This time, there's no room for mistakes. We've made our enemies, and now we face the consequences. But we have to fight. Earth depends on us." The warship powered up, its massive engines roaring as it prepared to leave Earth's atmosphere once again. The alien fleet was still days away, but Jackson knew that they wouldn't wait. The warship had to act quickly. As the ship moved into position, the crew readied their weapons, but something felt different this time. The weight of what they had done hung in the air, and every crew member could feel it. This wasn't just another fight. This was survival. The enemy ships arrived faster than expected, a cloud of darkness spreading across the sky. The warship's AI immediately began analyzing the enemy fleet, calculating the best strategies. The aliens had learned from their past defeat, and their new fleet was prepared for the warship's power. It was a terrifying realization for Jackson. This battle could be their last. "We can't waste time," Jackson ordered, his voice steady but filled with urgency. "Lock onto their command ship and fire." The warship's energy cannon unleashed another devastating blast, but the alien ships were ready this time. They dodged, using advanced shields that absorbed most of the blast. The warship's power was still immense, but the aliens had learned to adapt. They fought back with an intensity that surprised even Jackson. The fight was no longer a one-sided affair. As the battle raged on, the warship's crew fought with everything they had. The AI suggested evasive maneuvers, but Jackson knew they couldn't rely on the ship alone. He ordered the crew to manually target the alien ships, trying to outsmart them at every turn. Minutes felt like hours as the battle escalated. The warship took hit after hit, but its design allowed it to keep fighting. The enemy fleet began to falter, their ships slowly being destroyed by the relentless onslaught of humanity's warship. Then it happened. A massive explosion rocked the warship, sending a shockwave through the ship. The power systems flickered, and alarms blared. The warship had taken a critical hit. "Commander," Sarah yelled, "we need to get out of here. We can't keep going like this." Jackson looked around at his crew. They had come this far. There was no turning back. "No," he said, his voice calm but resolute. "We finish this." As the warship's guns fired one last time, the enemy fleet finally broke apart. The aliens retreated, their ships limping away from the battle. The warship had won again, but at a cost. The ship was heavily damaged, and the crew was exhausted. After the intense battle, the warship limped back to Earth, its hull battered and its systems malfunctioning. Commander Jackson stood on the bridge, staring out into the vast emptiness of space. The crew was tired, but they had achieved the impossible once again. The enemy had retreated, and Earth was safe, for now. But as they approached Earth, the weight of their actions grew heavier. The warship had become both a symbol of humanity's strength and a warning to the galaxy. Some species saw the warship as a sign of human resilience, proof that they would fight to protect their home at any cost. But others viewed it as a terrifying weapon, capable of bringing destruction to any species that crossed humanity's path. As the warship landed on Earth, the crew was met by a delegation from the Galactic Council. They had come to Earth to address the warship's existence and to decide what would happen next. The Council's decision would change everything. Xerix, the Valan representative, stood at the front of the group, his eyes filled with suspicion. "Humanity has broken the most sacred laws of war," he said, his voice cold. "Your warship has caused more destruction than we can ignore. The galaxy cannot allow this to continue." Kayla, the Torkin representative, spoke next. "But we also cannot ignore what the warship has accomplished. It has protected Earth from certain annihilation. The galaxy may fear it, but can we really condemn humanity for doing what was necessary to survive?" The room was filled with tension as the council debated. Some members argued that humanity's actions could not be forgiven, while others believed that Earth's survival justified the use of the warship. The debate was fierce, but no clear answer came. The galaxy was divided, and no one knew what the future held for humanity. Commander Jackson watched the discussion unfold. He knew that the warship was not just a weapon. It was a symbol of humanity's determination. But he also knew that the warship's existence had cost them their place in the galaxy's peace. They had become outcasts, feared by some and despised by others. "We didn't build the warship to make enemies," Jackson finally said, his voice steady. "We built it to protect our people. We never asked for this war. But now, it's too late. We can't undo what we've done." His words hung in the air, and for a moment, the room fell silent. The council members exchanged glances, uncertain of what to do. The galaxy had changed, and humanity was at the center of it all. No longer could Earth hide in the shadows of the universe. They had made their mark, for better or for worse. The debate continued, but Commander Jackson felt a sense of finality. The warship had done its job, and humanity had shown the galaxy that they would fight to protect their home, no matter the cost. But now, humanity's place in the galaxy was uncertain. Would they be accepted, or would they forever be feared as a dangerous power that broke the rules? The days following the battle had been filled with tension. Commander Jackson and the crew of the warship knew the inevitable moment was coming. The Galactic Council would soon make its final decision about their fate. Would humanity be allowed to keep the warship, or would it be destroyed, and the Earth forced to answer for its actions? As the crew gathered on the warship, their faces were a mix of exhaustion and nervous anticipation. They had fought valiantly, but now the question loomed over them. Had they done the right thing? Could they live with the consequences? "Commander," Lieutenant Sarah spoke up, her voice quiet but firm. "We've done everything we could. If the Council decides to destroy the warship, we'll have to accept it. But we've saved lives, and we've proven that humanity is not weak. We've done what had to be done." Jackson nodded, but his face remained troubled. He knew Sarah was right. The warship had saved countless lives, and it had stopped the alien invasion in its tracks. But the laws of war had been broken. The destruction caused was beyond anything they could take back. And no matter how much humanity had been forced to defend itself, the Council saw things differently. The warship finally docked at the Earth's central station, and a solemn group of Earth's leaders awaited the arrival of the Council members. The decision was in their hands, and everyone knew it. Xerix, the Vadalon representative, was the first to speak as the Council delegation entered the room. His expression was stern, his voice filled with authority. "Humanity has broken every law of war," he said, his eyes fixed on Jackson. "You have shown that your species is capable of great destruction. The warship has caused irreparable damage to galactic peace." But then, Kayla, the Torkin representative, spoke up. "Yes, the warship has broken laws, but it has also saved lives. Humanity was forced to act. And in the face of that, they have proven their resilience. They may have crossed a line, but their actions were made out of survival." The room fell silent as the Council members exchanged looks. The debate was growing more intense, with some supporting the humans and others condemning them. Jackson stood at the front of the room, waiting for the Council's decision. His heart pounded in his chest. No matter what the Council decided, the consequences of their actions were far-reaching. Finally, Xerix spoke again. "We have reached a decision," he said, Humanity's actions cannot go unpunished. The warship will be dismantled, and its power will be removed. Jackson felt a cold weight settle in his chest. The warship, their greatest achievement, would be destroyed. But the council wasn't finished. There will be no destruction of Earth, no further punishment, Xerix continued. We recognize that humanity has acted out of desperation. The warship will be taken apart, but humanity will not be erased. We will offer peace, but there will be restrictions. You will never build another weapon like this again. A sense of relief washed over Jackson. Earth had been given a chance to rebuild and prove themselves. The warship would be dismantled, but humanity would not be erased from the galaxy. As the meeting ended, Commander Jackson looked at his crew. They had survived. The warship had done its job, and now Earth had a new beginning. But the path ahead was uncertain. Would the galaxy accept them? Only time would tell.